Hello. This is my second review, or part two review, or continuation review for Dune Part 2. I've already reviewed this film, but these are just my additional thoughts. It's just now that I've seen the film 3 times in total, I'm going to add a few extra notes, extra thoughts, extra notions that I've got in my head of what I liked, what I loved about this film, why I've seen it 3 times now. Just brilliant film all round, and I want to talk about it more. I want to talk about it again and again and again because it's a fantastic film. Here's some more thoughts that I've written down that I'm gonna mention. I'm gonna bring up Anya Taylor Joy as Alia Atreides, Paul's sister. She was fantastic. I thought the scene on the beach. This one's full spoilers for Dune Part 2. The film's been out for nearly 2 months now, but full spoilers for the film. Anya Taylor Joy as Alia, and Paul's vision of the future on the beach when she's speaking to him. Then you hear her voice briefly at the end as she speaks to Lady Jessica as the Holy War begins. Fantastic. I thought Anya Taylor-Joy was awesome, and I can't wait to see more of her in Dune Messiah, Dune Part 3. I can't wait to see that. House Harkonnen resembled the Borg in Star Trek. Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek The Next Generation. The Borg in Star Trek, that scene in which there's altercations, shall we say, between the Fremen and House Harkonnen. There's the gathering around the table scene in which all the Borg are there, all the Harkonnens are there, and the way that they look, and the fact that they're wearing all the black clothing, it just gives off an appearance reminiscent, in my opinion, of the Borg from Star Trek. I always thought I was decent, by the way. I really, really, really like the Borg in Star Trek. Ray-Ban and Fade Rafa, bickering, saying, "Kiss my feet," that interaction, their portrayal, Dave Bautista and Austin Butler, are just fantastic. I'm pretty sure I already mentioned that in the review, but I'll just say it again. Love that scene with Dave Bautista and his uncle, where he says, when Stellan Skarsgård says to Ray-Ban, "Tighten your grip, Ray-Ban, or you'll feel mine." That was just a fantastic scene, and it was obviously a callback, in my opinion, to Apocalypse Now, which is one of Denis Villeneuve's, one of his favourite films. I think that was a callback to that, also in the first film as well, with him emerging out of his bath thing. The Water of Life baby worm. I love the practical effects there, and I love the way that it was filmed, in which you see that woman capture the baby worm when she bangs her hand on the sand, and then it jumps out and she catches it, and she looks at it directly, and it's got no eyes, it's just looking directly into its mouth. That was great practical effects, in my opinion. I thought it was interesting how they showcased how they got the Water of Life. That was just fantastic, in my opinion. The raw fight scenes, the opening fight scene where the Harkonnens searching for the Fremen in the desert, the way in which Stellan Skarsgård character kills the two servants that he has, Josh Brolin, Gurney Halleck killing Ray-Ban, quick, brutal, straight to the point, raw, and then the fight scene at the end between Timothée Chalamet, between Paul Atreides and Fade Rafa, raw. It felt raw. There was a raw feeling to it of it, just trying to be as realistic and as accurate and as natural, and how it would realistically play itself out, not in some over the top way with triple back flips and quadruple front flips, and Dave Bautista's character turns around and does a turnaround spinny side kick, and he does a flip, and then he runs up the wall, does this super cool parkour thing or something like that. Just raw. It felt raw. The fight scenes felt straight to the punch, literally and figuratively. The desert shots, I want to talk about that. The shots at the start of the film in which you see the Harkonnens as they ascend upwards and they activate their anti-gravity belts, and they fly up towards the top of the not mountain, but whatever it was that was reminiscent of it. It was sort of like a mountain, not really a mountain, but I think you know what I mean. At the start of the film, that was beautiful desert shots, just beautiful cinematography. Greg Fraser was a cinematographer. I inaccurately said in my review it was Roger Deakins. It was Greg Fraser who did the cinematography for The Batman, and he also did the cinematography for Part 1, and I think, if I remember correctly, he was also the cinematographer for Rogue One and The Mandalorian. Superb job by him. And desert shots when Paul and Zendaya are sitting just staring at the sand, and he's saying Arrakis is beautiful, and he talks about Caladan, it's all water, sometimes it rains for weeks, and then they're talking about and then they're talking about she says to him "Oh, I don't believe you," and then Paul's just he's like, oh, well, we call it diving. Something along. Sorry if I'm getting that slightly wrong, but that was the general gist of what the dialogue was. Great scene, just visually beautiful, just fantastic imagery that we got on screen. Josh Brolin's battle charge with the guy behind him holding the House Atreides flag. Epic. Reverend Mother, Rebecca Ferguson, Lady Jessica, that was fantastic. The atomic warhead scene in which Paul shows him the family nuclear arsenal, that was great. The other great houses, we hear that the other great houses of the Lanzarad, they show up at the end and they refuse to accept Paul's ascendancy to become the Emperor. I can't wait to see more of these houses. I want to see more of them. I think Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2 having a fairly similar cast and having it being set primarily on Arrakis. I hope Dune Part 3 explores a few other planets. We get to see visual beauty from a few different other planets, a forest planet, a snow planet. Get to see planets that are like wacky and wild and weird and all that, because I love the desert thing, but I think hopefully for Part 3 they change it up a little bit. The Emperor and Princess having matching clothes at the end, that was kind of a cool touch. Lisan Al-Gaib, Paul, the messianic figure, Shai Halud, the Fremen term for the sandworm, Modib, the term that Paul adopts, as well as Usul for the desert mouse, kangaroo mouse. The woman from Spectre, Leah Seydoux, butcher her name, Seydoux, Seydoux. Sorry if I'm butchering that, but she was great. Up close camera work, quite a lot of up close and personal shots with the camera work. The Asian guy didn't get drugged in the triangle arena fight scene. That was pretty cool. Baron Harkonnen's fat suit, that was just pretty cool. Baron Harkonnen gets his wires cut when the Sardaukar goes up with his sword and just does that to him. That was, like, once again, raw feeling that the film was going for with the fight scenes and the violence and all that. The arena being black and white, was that influenced at all by Oppenheimer, perhaps? Maybe, don't know, could be. The black silhouette of the Harkonnens in the opening scene with the search for the Fremen, that was fantastic in my opinion. Just the black silhouette, awesome. I think I've already mentioned that, but I'm just gonna say it third, fourth, fifth time, whatever I'm at. And I've already mentioned the triangle arena. I'm gonna end it there. It's like my second review after my third viewing. Great film, loved it. I'm definitely going to be watching it when it comes out. End it there. Thanks for watching.